Hello YouTube, this is Mitten Mafia here, and I'm bringing you a video on how to use Aimlab, and what to use and what I do to get a better aim and a better shot selection in Valorant. They have a lot of different preset tasks, very fun, very good to use. It's good for dialing in and figuring out where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, and um, it's a great way to figure out how to take advantage of your strengths and how to learn to work on your weaknesses. And this little exercise is like the basic one. I like this one a lot to warm up on my aim lab when I start my training exercise. This is Gridshot, and what it does is it puts them in like a small box in front of you in random locations, and you got to shoot them as fast as possible. This is a test of speed and precision, and it's honestly a fun one. This one was probably the basic beginning one that I used the most just to kind of get my feel back for mouse and keyboard. And honestly, no complaints other than sometimes the AI can be a little weird because um, this game has like a little bit of skill-based matchmaking in it. So like the better you start to score on certain exercises, the AI will track that and it'll start playing against your weaknesses. So per se, if you're better at tight groups on Gridshot and you start getting really high scores, it'll start spacing the grouping out. So you got to do more like flick shots and stuff to have like a higher MS reaction time on Gridshot. So it's constantly testing you and it's constantly pushing you to your limits to improve and to get better. It'll even per se, if you're weaker on your left side than your right, it'll track that and it'll like throw more things on your left side to like get that left side good and get it up to par with like your right. And this one right here, this one is Spidershot. This one is one that's really good for flicking. One always spawns right in the center, and then it's in a random direction after you shoot that center one, and you got to flick to it as fast as possible, and then reset back to center. Um, this is really good for like your spatial recognition and stuff. In Valorant, this ties openly hand in hand with per se rounding corners and bomb sites where you know there's 2 to 3 people. Um, Also, like right off spawn, like when you're that first push, when you know there's going to usually be 2 to 3 guys, but you don't know where they're at. This is a great exercise for training that and being able to respond from every direction. And the game, the only thing that I have to say about um, this game training exercise right here is it's kind of annoying. It's not random as much. If you saw, it's like it after you hit so many shots, it keeps sending it all the way to the back. And I wished it was more random and like had send some to the front, send some to the back, and then send some mid range, and not just start close and then the more shots you hit, move all the way back, because then it kind of dulls your senses on your close range in time if you were to do that exercise a lot. Still a great exercise, really good. And it ties hand in hand with Gridshot. It actually makes your Gridshot better. All these are the different visualizations of where you're hitting targets more, where you're reacting faster. The results, it shows your score, your percentages, your hit percentages, your precision, everything. Very in-depth game. App, very great for training. Highly suggest it. And don't make fun, but I'm actually about to show you some of my weaker categories and what I struggle with still, but had just switched to back to mouse and keyboard about 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago. Just now finally bought a PC again and getting back into it, so kind of getting the swing of things again. And this is what I've used the past 2 months, and it's gotten me considerably better at the game and tracking in general. This exercise right here is Motionshot. This tests you on your flick shot to moving targets. Very great for strafe battles. In conflicts where an enemy is repositioning and you decide to push out, really great for catching him while he's moving. Also, really, really amazing for a slippery jet that likes to use her mouse button dash on you. Per se, if she knows you have good aim, she'll start trying to evade you with her moves. Great exercise to be able to catch her. This one's a little difficult. Doesn't give you much time, but this is one of those ones where if you stay on it more often, it'll make you very good. It's just the thing is this exercise can be very fatiguing. Tire you out really quick. It's hard to focus on, especially in a minute exercise. You are literally getting so much flicking experience that it tends to tire you out quicker. I'll actually find that my arm gets a little sore after about 10 to 15 minutes of doing exercises like that. Or a lot of the ones that do it are the tracking exercises too, which is probably like my poorest category because I run a higher DPI. It's hard to track slower moving targets with a fast DPI. That's something that I'm going to start training more of now that I'm a little bit better at my speed and precision and accuracy. That was my main concern. Just to have immediate enjoyment out of games and be able to start getting some kills, I worked on my speed, my precision, and my accuracy. But now that I'm getting the hang of all of that, I'm going to start heavily doing a lot of tracking exercises. Like I want to have like a 600 ms on, 80% tracking accuracy with my DPI. Um, I feel that would be incredible. And for everyone that thinks that tracking isn't good, even if you're a single shot guy, tracking is great. Even if you use single shot weapons, weapons that can one shot, the better that you can track, the better that you can like stay on a target, the easier it is to hit your single shots. Like I don't know if that makes any sense. It's hard to explain, but it's easier to find that guy, it's easier to get on him, and it's easier to pull the trigger even on a single shot gun if you have better tracking speed. So if you feel like you disagree or think that that's not true, then you can feel free to argue in the comments about it. But anybody that plays a lot of FPS knows that tracking is just overall probably one of the biggest ones, biggest skill sets, I guess you could say, to have. And sadly and ironically, it's also probably one of the hardest to train. Takes a lot of time, and it's not something you can just learn overnight. Very difficult. And this exercise right here is probably one of my favorites. If you can get to like a 500 ms reaction time on this exercise, you would be a god. There's no doubt about it. This is 6-shot, and it makes them like super small, so it's like you gotta like really fine tune your aim. This exercise is supposed to be a speed exercise, but in my opinion, right now I'm using it for accuracy and just trying to train my speed up to it. And if you do it that way as well, I feel like that'll be really good because if you can keep hitting your shots, the speed will come in time if you keep training it. You know what I mean? So like something like this where you just need to be able to hit it, like I think this is everything for training perception and just those little micro shots where like those small movements that you got to make to take a shot real quick. That exercise is key. Strongly suggest it. Um, I plan on posting more commentaries. Don't exactly know what to cover on content. If you guys feel like you would like anything in particular, don't be afraid to let me know. I'm open to input because that is one of my weak categories is probably commentating things and figuring out what to say, what to cover on my topics and such. But this one was a little bit more clear and cut because this is what I have been doing. This is what has immediately helped me in game. Uh, I don't know, my girlfriend's brother has been playing Valorant with me as well, and I've had him on this exercise, and he's never played on mouse and keyboard ever. And I already have him going positive in matches just from sticking to the same somewhat routine, and he's getting feeds and everything. So, uh, highly suggest using this. It's on Steam. The Name of the app is Aimlab. Very great one. Definitely pick it up. It's a must-have. Thank you. Have a great day.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep.